into the Culture Code, where business, creativity, and culture collide. With VIP Vern, entrepreneur, visionary, creator. This ain't commentary, it's lived experience. Let's decode.
Welcome all to the Culture Code. I'm your host, VIP Vern, the man, the myth, the legend. You know what we do, Drippy. You know, that's what it is, Uncle Drippy, if you want to call me that. Fresh to death, you know what we do, stay fly. That's just a part of the culture. That's part of a code. Many things we're going to get into this on our weekly journey together. So, hey, listen, let's get this thing started. I'm your host once again, VIP Vern, also known as Vern Harris, if you want to get technical. That's my name, yes. And I'm here to bring you something unique, a different spin on things of how we proceed life. I struggled for quite some time to see, do I want to do this? Do I want to fit into this whole frame of things? Hey, did I want to come off like I has been talking, doing a podcast now, because the glory days were done. And that was one of the reasons why I never really wanted to do a podcast, because I was still working. I was still grinding. I was still in the mix. But I started to notice that something that I learned from my dad growing up was this proverb: empty barrels make the most noise. And that started to apply to me more and more when I started to go down this road of wanting to do a podcast. And I started to see some of the people that were in this space, and they were just basically giving out misinformation, clickbait, chasing trends. And I did not want that to be anything that I wanted to contribute to this ecosystem. So what I decided to do was, I thought about it for quite some time, and I was like, all right, you know what? I could do this. And if I'm going to do this, it's going to be to enlighten people. And I've worked with established artists, athletes, celebrities, and then I decided to do my own thing. To, I realized that I was always like this director type figure. I was producing things, putting things together, but I felt that it was time for me now to not only direct, but to come in front the camera, and hence me doing the Culture Code now. So that's to give you a little bit of insight. But once again, 20 years in the game, been building brands, products, services. I'm in tech, music, fashion, business, and I've dabbled in a lot of different things. And that's what we want to kind of discuss through this medium that we have now, this platform, is to show a couple different ways that we can connect to you. So that's what we're going to do, not only with me, but also I'm going to have my guests as well that will come and give you their insight of how they view things and what they did to decode their way into their space of making themselves known within the culture itself. So come along for this ride with us. We're excited. We're hoping for you that you'll tune in and you'll see what we have to offer. So stay tuned. But from the podcast perspective, that was the other thing. What I wanted to do was definitely give back also. And if I could share some of the experiences that I had in my own life, the mishaps, the mistrust, or the betrayals, or just life lessons when I hit it and I made it a big win. I felt that that could be something that could be beneficial to some of the audience that will be watching this as well or listening. So that is the goal. Our goal is to give back to you guys, for you guys to live through some of the experiences that I may have encountered, and see if that could benefit you in your personal or business life. So stay tuned to us, grow with us, learn with us. One of the things I've kind of had to realize is you gotta know, in no matter what you start to create, you gotta know when to pivot. You gotta know when to take a break. You got to know when to accelerate, when to use your momentum. Those are the things that you have to find your sweet spot for, so to speak. So those things are definite. It's a must. One of the things that I started to realize is that because I was involved in so many different businesses, some people may have thought that, hey, you know what? He's just like spending his time all across the board. He's just seeing what will stick like spaghetti to a refrigerator. No, that's not the case. I've kind of been able to be in multiple lanes and be a master of the lanes I'm in. So I'm not a jack of all trades, a master of none. I've actually been able to master the lanes that I've gone into with discipline and structure. And a lot of people have these great ideas, but they don't implement the structure. And that is something that you're going to have to be able to do if you want to see some level of success across the board. And one of the things that I remember specifically is from Kenny Rogers, that song, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. And I applied that to business and entrepreneurship with that and knowing to say, hey, sometimes it's okay. You can build a business, build the brand, create awareness, create visibility, do all those things necessary. But your goal was never to be a one man band or one stop candy shop. You were doing these things to attract people to your circle, finding your tribe, so that you can build momentum with others, not by yourself. So sometimes, yes, you do have to pivot. You do have to take that time to say, well, you know what? Let me find maybe the right investors. Let me find maybe the right board members. Let me find that. But you can't find those people without that structure first. So pivoting for financial reasons, structure, from just administrative reasons, those could be great reasons for you to pivot or to transition into something different, but not saying, well, I'm going to give up on this. Well, let me just accentuate, bring more people to the table, create more structure around what I'm doing, and then move forward. I've transitioned. I've been in so many different worlds. I've been in music. I've now, like I said, I'm in fashion. I'm also in tech. I've built a platform, an app that I was able to be accepted into Apple's entrepreneur camp based on my innovation that I created. So if someone was to tell me now that why would I pivot and I was able to see this level of success from my merits, then hence is the reason for pivoting. People never really saw me as that person to be in that space. That's not you. I remember hearing those same words. So if that's not me, then and I'm here now, what will be the difference between you starting something now and someone else telling you that's not you? There are three important eras in time that I realize now for myself. You've had BC, AD, and now PP, post pandemic. And what I notice is that since the pandemic, that the old playbook of how you did things doesn't really apply anymore. And there's three interesting things that you must have for to maintain a sustainable brand in PP post pandemic, which is innovation, customization, popularity. You must have all three. You can't have one out of the three or two out of the three. Also, I dub that called the soda can effect, where yes, you may get like the instant fizz, the bubbly, the crispness, everything that's there, right? Fizzy, everything. But if you give it some time, 30 minutes or so, eventually it'll go flat. So we want you to maintain your fizz. We want you to maintain that level of success. So if you produce, create, promote products, brands, or service, make sure you keep those three elements in mind for long-term sustainable success. Innovation, customization, popularity, all three.
This ain't commentary, it's lived experience. Let's decode.
So let's decode culture together. That's the goal of the culture code. And what we want to make sure and have this here is to provide a platform for ourselves and our guests to come and share with you insights that can help you on a day-to-day basis become a better you. That is the goal of the culture code. And we hope that you will join us on this journey. My name is VIP Vern. Follow me on Instagram, once again, VIP_Vern, or follow the culture code. You're going to see it pop up right there. Bing! Right? And let's get the coding together, man. Let's get this going. Let's get this flow. Let's get this shaking and baking. You know what we do, baby.